And welcome to Ask Me About K-Pop, the essential guide for recent converts and seasoned fans alike. My name is Shannon.
And I'm Angelica.
And today is a very, very exciting day because we're doing what can only be referred to as our very first Ake-style deep dive.
Now, we've talked about this vocabulary word before, back when we had my dear friend Kara on for our Super M concert recap. What is an ake?
An ake is a malicious solo stan. I'm not malicious, but the point is that, like, I am a Hyuna solo stan. And everything is so goddamn weird right now and crazy, and all I can do is turn toward the light. So Angelica indulged me in allowing me to have a Hyuna deep dive episode, but because Hyuna was
I'd like to say, I think I suggested it.
I think you did. I think you threw it out like knowing it's what I needed. But Hyuna has been in multiple groups. Mm-hmm. So yes. It'll be sort of like half of a deep dive for 4 minutes, but also not really because I'm really just talking about Hyuna and where she falls.
But it is sort of a double deep dive in the sense that we are going to go chronologically through Hyuna's entire career, but throughout a significant portion of her career and the beginning of her solo career, she was in a girl group and she promoted with them and solo simultaneously, right, like many artists do. But the only other artist deep dive similar to this that we've done would be Jonghyun's, because he was a solo artist that we covered all of his solo career, but we'd already done a SHINee episode. Right. So we didn't need to talk about the things that were concurrently happening with SHINee. But with Hyuna, like, we've never done, there's no other reason for us to ever do a 4-minute deep dive, right, if not in the context of a Hyuna deep dive. Right. So this is a as Junhui would say, 1+1, 2-for-1 special.
Yeah, I think so. So Hyuna, we usually, before we start a deep dive, we go like, what are our personal feelings on this?
Sure.
She is the most important person to me. Like, when you say all the time, like, I think about Chanyeol every day. I think about Hyuna the first thing I think about when I wake up every day is Hyuna.
Wow.
I think about her all the time. She is my hero. She is who I want to be when I grow up, despite her being younger than me. I think about what she would do, what she would wear, what she would say, what she would think of me. I wonder what she's doing every moment. I think we're psychically connected. She's always there for me, like, right when I need her. I seem to be able to, like, summon her to social media, like, when I need her. We both have the same favorite color. We both love to do our nails ourselves. I don't know. She's just, I can barely describe how important Hyuna is to me.
She's, like, so far past a ultimate bias for you. I think that she, like, truly does encapsulate the word and definition idol, yes, for you.
She's my idol.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've talked a little bit about this before, because I know I've asked you, like, why didn't you talk about Hyuna in any of our bias episodes? Like, she's definitely your, like, number one. And it's because she's in a slightly different level.
She's on another
she's
tier.
Like on another, yeah, she's like another echelon of idol to you.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and that's who she's always been to me. Is your fave?
Yeah. So we can get into. I'm trying to think of how we do this when it's only one person. We do, like, people, personality and stuff descriptions first before we get into the timeline?
First, let me give some facts and figures of just, like, I think we usually like to start with, like, a number picture of someone's career. So Hyuna, real name Kim Hyuna.
And it is Hyuna, not Hyuna.
Yeah.
But I've also seen that in certain countries, like in Bali and the Philippines, they do call her Hyuna with no H.
Interesting.
But that's just a thing. I've heard Hyuna. I've heard everything, but like it is Hyuna.
Hyundai.
And it's sometimes spelled with an AH, but it's usually stylized capital HYUN capital A.
Yeah. She was born on June 6th, 1992. That makes her 27.
Yes.
And throughout her career, she has won 15 awards, including 3 Mamas, 2 Melons, and a European Music Award. She has 33 songwriting credits to her names. She has released 6 solo EPs, all of which have made it into the top 10 charts. She has 9 singles. She's been a featured artist on 13 different tracks. She has 13 solo MVs, and those statistics do not include the girl group music videos and tracks and EPs and etc. that we will run down in her chronology today.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing, that those lists of accolades that you just gave. Now, they're nothing to sneeze at, but something that I feel like is very interesting about Hyuna compared to, say, a Boa, if we're talking like female solo artists, is that I do feel like Hyuna is more of an idol / icon than she is a superstar performer. Like she's never gone on a world tour. She's never had like solo concerts that were giant. Like, so she's not, even though she is so famous and so rich and has so many like deals and her face is on everything and people know who she is, she's not like selling out stadiums kind of like, and she has 6 EPs, but it's like 18, 20 songs total. She's never put out a full album. It's just like the singing idol part of Hyuna seems to be like such a small chunk of her legacy.
Yeah, if you look at like the pie of her career or whatever, the singing and like music production aspect of it is not the majority. Like I think it's probably pretty, if you were to split it up, like pretty evenly split between like fashion endorsements and like makeup endorsements and being like different brand ambassadors. She has a lot of star power that I think is not intrinsically linked with her performances and tours. Like most artists make almost all of their money and do like spend all their time touring. Right. And that's not what Hyuna does.
No. So I just think that's an interesting thing to note because I feel like even people who don't listen to K-pop might know who she is.
Yeah. Our Lyft driver on the way to the Super M concert, he knew Hyuna. He called her Hyuna, I think.
I believe.
Or maybe Hyuna or something like that. But yeah, he knew who she was.
So yeah, I just think that's a very interesting thing about her is that she is so very well known, but the music career part of it seems to be like one of the smallest pieces of the pie. So it's just like, that's interesting to me.
Yeah.
So these are some like facts about Hyuna and why I love her. So one of the biggest things about Hyuna that I think people are always surprised by if they just know her as music video Hyuna is that she is so cute and so small and she talks like a baby. Like this is what her speaking voice sounds like.
나 그거 듣고 싶어.
뭐?
비 좀 막아줘.
아, 그거 왜 들어?
같이 부르자.
And it's just so small.
아저씨가 너무 시원하게 상의 탈의를 하셨어.
So anyway, she's a baby. She's just a baby. And that it's always I remember it was very shocking to me the first time I saw her outside of a music video. I think it was on like a Running Man episode. And I was like absolutely shook.
Yeah, by how cutesy she is. Because it is, and like I definitely took note of this throughout her career. 2 things. One, that she's always from the get-go had an incredibly sexy image. So like that has always been her persona. But 2, this like evolution of her Aegyo voice, it evolves throughout her career. Like she doesn't come out the gate with that cutesy voice in her music.
In the music.
All.
Right.
And so that kind of like she eventually develops it as like what I would say is a signature.
The signature Hyuna sound.
Yeah.
Yeah, I note it when it like starts appearing in
Yeah,
the
me
thing.
too.
But when she was on variety shows when she was much younger, because as we will get into, she debuted at like 15, so she was a little bitty girl. And on variety shows when she was like very, very young, she talked like an absolute baby and like always had like a pouty face on. But I think that's how she like endeared the public to her by being like
very cute.
Very cute.
Yeah.
But she does whatever she wants and she will throw a fit very quickly over anything. She knows that she's the prettiest person in the whole world and she says it all the time.
Yep. She loves to catch. She's like a little magpie. She like loves catching her reflection in things.
And then she's just like, oh, I'm so pretty.
Yep.
And she's not wrong. I wrote that her bangs are the best bangs. Whenever she has bangs, they're just, I don't know, she just wears them so well.
Yeah, I know you've mentioned that before, that it's like dangerous to you when Hyuna gets bangs because it makes you think that you can get bangs.
Yeah, that's how she influences me in my life. She does things and I go, can I? She's very, very good at talking, and that she can just like talk herself into or out of basically anything. But I also just like love listening to her speak Korean because she speaks very, very formally and she speaks very clearly in a high-pitched voice, which is how you talk to children because they can understand it easier. So like I like to watch Hyuna Lives for dictation practice because I can understand her when she talks. She's also like really, really obsessed with aesthetic.
Yes.
And like pretty things and like the aesthetic. And I think one of her favorite ones is just the concept of youth in quotes. So there's a lot of music videos later in her career where they're like very, very party based, but like in a kind of a gross way, like people puking in toilets or like dirty house parties or like people being kind of sloppy and messy because I think she kind of loves the like aesthetic of the like chaos of like, I don't know, she's just obsessed with aesthetic and like how things look.
Yeah. She probably would have been a huge fan of that show Skins.
Yes. I wouldn't doubt even for a second that she watched Skins because like that's definitely a thing that she loves. Other things that she loves dogs. She loves pineapple. She loves The Simpsons. She loves to go shopping. She especially loves grocery stores, especially when they're fully, freshly new stocked and all the stuff is lined up on the shelves. She fucking loves that. And she takes millions of pictures of it. She loves taking pictures.
She loves taking
pictures of herself and of her friends and like just loves to take pictures. She loves vintage clothes and vintage stuff, especially like weird, kitschy, like 80s and 90s stuff. She has a weird collection of like, do you remember those like jelly jar glasses in like the 80s when like it would be like you'd get like Tom and Jerry like jam, but then the glass you were supposed to like rinse it out and then like use the glass.
Use it as a glass.
She has like a lot of like kitschy weird glassware. And she's currently very, very into lace curtains and doilies. She has a new house and she's like covering every lamp, every surface, everything in like little lacy like doilies. She's very into lace at the moment.
There's a lot of like fluffy, frilly grandma aesthetic.
She loves
to Hyuna,
grandma
and
aesthetic.
so, you know, it doesn't surprise me that she's covered her house with doilies.
So anyway, that's just like a list of some like things about Hyuna. She's very, very cute and she's very, very strong-willed. And I think that's probably the most important things to know about her before we move on.
All right, so let's dive in.
Okay. So first thing on my timeline, I wrote it as like 1996-ish. Hyuna's origin story is that she was out walking with her dad and she saw like some boys doing b-boy dancing in the square, and she told her dad that she wanted to be a dancer, and so he signed her up for dance classes. And then she spent most of her youth like auditioning for companies, trying to be like a kid actress because she looked exactly like she did now when she was 5. Like
her face has not changed.
Face has not changed at all. And she was finally around 2005 cast at JYP. And I guess I'll just bring this up now because it's a thing that seems to come up a lot about Hyuna, which is that her parents are divorced. And it's like there's a lot of articles about it. Like that is like the biggest tragedy that could ever happen to someone, or like Hyuna's dark past. Her parents are divorced. From what I've gathered as a fan, she's closer to her dad, and she has little brothers from her dad, and her dad has dogs that she hangs out with. And I've like heard her dad's voice on many variety shows. But all I know about her mom is that her mom occasionally sends her like knitted like beanies and stuff. Like, I made this for you. So I feel like she's closer to her dad than she is her mom. But like her parents are divorced, and that's important.
Fair.
So her dad was, I think, like the person who was spearheading her being a...
Supporting her in,
Yes.
in her quest.
So in May 2006, JYP announces that they are doing a new girl group, and they're going to be called the Wonder Girls. There's a TV show introducing all of the members, and Hyuna will be the rapper/dancer of the Wonder Girls. So February 13th, 2007, the Wonder Girls debut with a single called Irony.
말을 고지고대로 듣지 못하고 자꾸 의심하게 돼 믿지 못하고 잠시 생각해보면 아 네가 못하러 그렇게까지 나에게 관심을 사려 싶어서 믿어보려고
Yeah, so Hyuna is 15 years old in this video, and she has like a super short, like to the ears chopped bob.
Yeah, super
That's very
choppy bob.
severe.
This song was from the EP The Wonder Begins. And yeah, Hyuna is the like maknae of this group, and she is definitely supposed to be the sexy one.
Yeah,
of the
she's
group.
in tiny shorts, a shirt, a really
The
high midriff
smallest
shirt.
crop top of all of them. There's like one other member that also has a crop top, but Hyuna's is like way tinier. And in that rap break that you played, she does like a little dance solo that's just all like hips and boobs, and it's crazy.
Very
but also,
strong chest pops are her like signature move.
Yeah.
And so that she was doing them from right at the jump.
Literally, yeah.
Like that is like a super strong chest pump is like a Hyuna signature move.
But also, this music video is only available in like 240p.
Oh, it looks
and
terrible.
It's fucking horrible. I wrote that it looks like a Disney Channel original movie version of Spy Kids, but with a voodoo doll instead of solving crime. Because the plot of this music video is that like a boy is cheating on one of them, and they all band together with their high-tech gadgets to voodoo doll him.
Yeah.
But she's a low-voiced rapper, Hyuna.
Yes.
So note,
Listen,
there you go.
her
That's
voice
her real...
will evolve, but that's how it started.
That's how it
so
started.
Wonder Girls debuted in February, but in July, so barely 4 months later.
I will say, even though it was very short-lived, they did also promote a second track, all 5 of them together, called It's Not Love. I watched a music core performance of it. It's a very boring song where they just stand and sing in frilly dresses, and the 2 of them that are doing the riffs don't hit every riff, and Hyuna just stands there in the background.
Yeah. But just a few months later, Hyuna is suddenly pulled from the Wonder Girls by her parents. Because she has gastroenteritis, which is like a stomach thing. And then she also has vasovagal syncope. I believe it's what it's syncope. I don't know how you say it, but it's basically that thing like when people see blood and they faint. It's like an extreme stress response that you just pass the fuck out.
Yeah.
And she has that. And there's an upsetting amount of footage of her passing out. But her parents pulled her out of the Wonder Girls. They were like, this is too much.
Yeah.
Never mind. But it started absolutely horrifying rumors that like people still hold on to till this day, and they drive me crazy when people bring them up like they're real because I think it's so gross. But the rumor was basically that like Hyuna had gotten knocked up by an old executive and was getting like rushed away to go have a secret baby or like have a secret abortion or something. And then later when Jay Park got kicked out of 2PM, the rumor turned into Jay Park had knocked Hyuna up, and that's why they got like split up. But like,
was that even around the same time?
No, it was years later.
That's
but like
insane.
it got folded into the conspiracy.
Ugh, people are so crazy.
So I hate this conspiracy, and she was a little girl, and that just like makes me too upset.
She was so young, and it's also like dumb because there is plenty of like confirmed documentation of her health concerns. Like she's come out and publicly talked about it, and there's just like she has a health issue. Like don't be dicks.
And she was 15 and her parents didn't want her to do it anymore. Like it makes sense. But she took a nice long break, and then longish, a year.
Yeah, a year.
She took a year off, and then she, I guess, could probably convince her dad in her Hyuna way that she can convince anyone of anything, that she wanted to keep being a singer. So she moves to Cube Entertainment.
Yes.
On May 14th of 2009, so like a year after she joined Cube, Cube announces that they are putting out a new girl group, and the working title of the group is the Hyuna Group.
Yeah, they initially announced that because she joins in 2008, and then in 2009, Cube announces that they are going to make a group for Hyuna, and that they like will be debuting a group with her in it. But she's the first member that is announced. Like you said, it's called the Hyuna Group, and then later they announce they introduce the rest of the members when they have cast them.
So just a thing to note, it's in a playlist. I made a very big playlist for this episode, and it's got, when I mention reality shows later and stuff, the first episode of the reality show is in the playlist. I tried to be very thorough. But something that's in the playlist is before she debuted with 4 Minute, Hyuna appears in Geekwang's debut music video, which is called Dancing Shoes. And Geekwang from Beast originally debuted as a solo artist named AJ.
Oh.
And then they put him in a group and changed his name. But she's in the music video for that, barely. She's like the girl leaning on the wall at the basketball court where he like shows off and like dances, and you see the side of her face for a second. But that's something she was up to. So 4 Minute is born June 15th, 2009. And 4 Minute, something we have discussed angrily before, had 5 people in it.
Yes, they did.
Despite having a big number 4 right at the front.
And despite like literally all of their EPs and et ceteras, like they work the number 4 into their song titles so often that it is infuriating all over again every time they do it, that there's 5 of them.
Yes. But the 5 members were Jihyun, Gayun, Jiyoon, Hyuna, and Sohyun. So 2 Hyuns, 2 Yoons, and a Hyuna, which is like,
yeah,
I think it's a lot. It's a mouthful. But their fans were called Fornia, which stands for 4 Minute Mania.
Sounds dirty.
Doesn't it? And their color was pearl purple. And this has led me to believe, these last few deep dives have led me to believe that everyone who debuted between like 2006 and 2010 had a pearl.
Yeah.
And I think it's because light sticks didn't exist and people were still doing balloons. And pearlescent is a kind of balloon.
You're right. That's true. That's true.
There we go.
It's a solid theory.
So June 15th, 4 Minute debuts with a song called Hot Issue. So at debut, 4 Minute's concept was just like fun, like just very fun, very young, very, very colorful. It definitely has even more of that Disney Channel vibe where people are wearing too many clothes and all the clothes don't match and are like layered
5
really crazy
patterns. Yeah.
Yeah. But even though Hyuna is more covered up in this one, she was the only person in the group who had to wear heels in this music video.
And she's wearing super, super short shorts.
Yes.
But she's clearly the star of it. Like the whole thing
opens the
starts
music
with
video.
It. Yeah.
And she's like, 4 Minute is here. And then like the doors open behind her and the others come in. But like it's her debut show.
I read that they performed this song. So on June 21st, like 2 days after they performed for the first time on Mnet, their van was broken into and raided by fans who stole their clothes and other items.
Oh,
so
no.
They were very popular, I guess, to a certain group of people away.
Or there was a weird group of hanger-ons that were like, I've watched Cube groups before. They don't have good security. Like, you can take their clothes.
Maybe.
That's wild. So later in the year, in August, 4 Minute put out their first mini album that was called For Music, but music is spelled with Z's and K's.
Yeah.
Music. And the single is also called Music. So music is very interesting because it's the same sort of wild outfits as the last thing, but now everything is silver.
Yeah.
and strobier because now it's like a tiara to anyone kind of thing. Hyuna has like a very short purple wig on in some of the scenes.
Yeah.
It's a really pretty, like trendy, like currently trendy shade of purple.
Yeah, because it's kind of like a grayish
It's that dusty
purple.
that's cool
Yeah.
now, but it was a very long time ago. I just think it's interesting that she's wearing a wig for some reason in that song.
Yeah, but only in some parts of it, which is weird. That song, I'm gonna admit it. I don't love 4 minutes music. It's very auto tune heavy, and it's just it's like a lot of bleeps and bloops and sounds. But whatever. This EP won an Inkigayo Mutizen Award, and then. But in our first example of Hyuna being banned from things, KBS banned the song Won't Give You, which was another song off of this EP because of its supposedly sexual lyrics.
Yeah, get ready for a crazy amount of things and people being banned and warned about television. Like, I feel like Hyuna's entire career, especially in the 4-minute part, is like changing lyrics and choreography to be able to be on TV, like constantly.
For sure.
So that was 4-minute music. The next thing I have on the timeline is that in October 2009, Hyuna joined the cast of a show called Invincible Youth, where girl group members were working on a farm. And she was there with like Sunny and Yuna from Girls' Generation and Hara from Kara and like a bunch of people. And they just like worked hard on a farm. And it really did a number for her like popularity because she was just being fucking adorable.
Cute and endearing. And previous to that, throughout the year of 2009, she was very busy. She did a lot of collaborations. She was featured in 4 different songs. And there's more than just 4 songs. I think there's like 5 total tracks. 4 collaborations and 4 music videos were released between like March and October of 2009.
So January 4th, 2010, Hyuna debuts as a solo artist, and her solo debut is called Change. So this song was written by Shin Se-dong Tiger and features Junyoung from Beast. It spent 5 weeks in the top 10 and was the 14th best song of 2010.
It got a 19 plus rating.
And Hyuna was not 19.
Yeah.
She was 17. So she would not be legally allowed to watch her own music video.
Yeah, which is pretty dumb. But there is, like, the choreo is very sexual.
It's so
literally
wild.
just hip thrusting and body rolls. And it's crazy because she's wearing the teensiest shorts.
It's like a boxer, like a sexy boxer outfit. Like the little hooded wind jacket and the teeny shiny shorts and a teeny sports bra.
And then just like pelvis thrusts.
Yes, because the like main move of Change is a pelvic thrust mixed with like a heel turn in. So it's like very, very, it's a lot. It's like a huge move. And she like twerks really hard. And again, everything she does in this choreo, she will keep doing forever.
True. She does not have her cutesy voice yet. So she's just like singing and rapping normally. SBS ended up, even after she changed the choreography, like still giving it a 15 plus rating. MBC was the one that was like, no, I don't care. Anyone can watch this. But yeah.
So that was January. In May, 4-Minute came out with their second mini album, which was called Hit Your Heart. And the single is called Huh or Hit Your Heart. This album peaked at number 3 and I wrote that it has a leather and body rolls concept.
Very accurate. I had read that this song was used in propaganda broadcasts to North Korea by a radio station called something like Freedom of Your Voice or Voice for Freedom.
I don't know if we've ever brought this up on the show, but there's like speakers that face North Korea and they like blast K-pop on it as like an act of free to like, hey, we have good music over here.
Yeah, they broadcast a lot of different things, and like popular K-pop songs are sometimes one of the things that they broadcast, and this song was one of them. It's very Pussycat Dolls, and it has some super wild hair in the music video.
It also features a intro by Beast that on the album is like a whole separate track where it's Beast just being like, whoa, it's 4 minutes.
Yeah.
They're coming. You can't believe it. It's just like, it's just them like hyping up the whole beginning of the song. Yeah. But they were label mates. So
they were, and I feel like they collaborate quite a few different times. Prior to this, 4 Minute held their first concert in Japan, like the same month in May. And then they also released a second single off of this EP, which was called I, My, Me, Mine.
I, My, Me, Mine.
I, My, Me, Mine.
In October 2010, Hyuna made her film debut with a cameo in a horror movie called Midnight FM. She doesn't do a ton of acting, but that's one thing that she did do. And then on March 30th, 2011, a tattoo artist reveals on SNS that Hyuna has a giant tattoo on her back that says, "My mother is the heart that keeps me alive." It's really big script, and it's like goes large, all over her shoulder. And for many, many years, it was the only tattoo she had, and it was huge. But it was a big deal that she had it.
Yeah, but now she has a lot of them.
She has a lot of them now.
The only other thing I wrote that happened throughout January and March of 2011 is that 4 Minute did a lot of Japanese promos and releases because they did their like Japanese debut in that time. And then they were over there working. But as we've said before, we don't usually cover Japanese stuff. So we're going to skip past it.
So skipping past it, on April 1st, 2011, 4 Minute put out their first and only full album called 4 Minutes Left.
Yes.
And they first put out a digital single called Heart to Heart. So this music video has Junction from CN Blue in it, and it starts with like a skit with him and Hyuna, and like he's the boyfriend, and she's like, "Oh, cuddle with me, oh, whatever," and he's acting very bored and angry. So then she teams up with the rest of the group, and they like put glue on his food and like switch out his shaving crew. They
prank him in many, many, many different ways because he like was a really loving boyfriend, and then all of a sudden,
but now he's not.
Is, like super disinterested. This is like the first instance of cutesier Hyuna vocals that I noticed. And there's literally a part in it where one of the girls in 4 Minute has a straight Whoville braid where she has like a poof of bangs, and then instead of just being like a normal ponytail braid, the braid sticks out horizontally from the crown of her head, and it's not a good look.
So Heart to Heart was released early as a digital single, and then when the actual album came out in April, the single they promoted was called Mirror Mirror. And this was the first time I noted that the baby rap, that the signature Hyuna baby rap voice was like coming into its own.
Cutesy vocals are building.
Here it is. So this song the music video has a very strong mirror concept, as it's called, Mirror Mirror. That background, it's always weird when music videos look exactly like another music video and you can't remember specifically what one. But the part where they're like in the dirt and then there's like a geometric shiny thing, silvery thing behind them, I feel like there's an Infinite video like that and a shiny video. Like, I don't know. It felt really, really familiar.
Totally.
And then the rest of it, they're like in one of those like infinite mirror rooms. A-Pink has a music video that's like that too.
Yeah, this choreo had to be changed for the live shows because they do like some...
I didn't think it was that. I didn't think it was that sexual.
Either.
It seemed more boyish than anything. It was like they got down on their knees and then they were rolling their knees.
Totally.
So it didn't seem like
EXO did that, they wouldn't have gotten.
It didn't seem like a sexy like leg spread as much as it was just like a cool like on the ground.
Like their legs were opening and closing, but
it feels more like
it wasn't like a floor hump.
Yeah, it feels different. Anyway, they got in trouble for it.
Like they had to change it. But this song went to number 2 on the Gaon chart.
Yeah. Next thing in the Hyuna timeline is after this comeback in June, Hyuna joined Dancing with the Stars, the first season of Korean Dancing with the Stars. She made it into the top 5. I watched all of her performances and I love her more. I love her more than anything. But Dancing with the Stars was like not for her. She could not hold her frame.
Yeah.
And she kept she kept drawing tango and she could not like hold her upper body frame tight enough. I used to work in a ballroom studio. Ballroom is like
it's very structured.
It's a very structured thing. And she's a body roll chest pop kind of girl.
Yeah.
But she hung in there and it was cute. And all those performances you can still watch on YouTube. Next thing I have is in July of 2011, Hyuna put out her first EP and it was called Bubble Pop. And the single is obviously Bubble Pop. We've talked about Bubble Pop a bazillion times on this show.
Yeah,
because iconic.
It is iconic, and it's her most watched music video. And we've gotten Hyuna before in the random game when we did one of our girl group episodes. She was our random game, and
because she's always watching over. I told you, psychic connection.
But so we have watched the music video for Bubble Pop before. She does all of the cute like little instrumentals. It like is her going like ooh. Yeah. This is for sure the like official debut of her cutesy voice persona.
For sure.
I would say like it is cemented in stone and it's going to be there forever. This music video got 1 million views in only 2 days, and it is the first K-pop music video to surpass 100 million views. So
yes.
It is like a K-pop milestone.
It's
for
history.
Sure. It is history. Spin magazine named it one of the best songs of 2011.
But another interesting, gotta list every single banning. She got to perform this song on music shows for like a week and a half, and then it got banned from TV for being too racy. So then she had to promote another song on the EP called Just Follow instead.
Yeah. Which is dumb because it's like the only reason people think it's racy is because she's wearing short shorts while she pops her chest. But again, if EXO was doing it, no one would fucking bat an eye. Misogyny.
Yes. A lot of infuriating double standard to be had around here.
For real.
But Bubble Pop, Summer Jam, very important.
Yeah. For
please.
The majority of the rest of this year, 2011, I have that 4-minute Japanese promotions, like starting in August and going all the way to December. But something very important happened in November.
In November, at the 2011 Mamas, during Beast's performance, it had been teased that this was going to happen, so it wasn't a huge surprise. But during Beast's performance, like this grave like rises out of the smoke, and like Hyuna's like asleep on top of like a tombstone or whatever, and then Hyunsung from Beast like awakens her, and they did like a cool couple dance to just the because like the song wasn't out yet, so it was like a huge tease, and they kissed on the mouth in the
Cube official statement.
I watched it
yesterday.
Lip to cheek. There's no cheeks,
there's no
and
fucking way. There's
the mouth.
no way it's lip to cheek.
They're kissing on the mouth.
Yeah, they are.
But that was like the announcement of Troublemaker was at the Mamas. And
the debut. The announcement was in November.
Sure.
The debut was in December.
So November 20th was the Mamas, and then on December 1st, the actual album came out, and the single for the debut of Troublemaker was obviously called Troublemaker. This Troublemaker was my first introduction to Hyuna as a person.
Mine as well. And I love Troublemaker. We've definitely talked about Troublemaker before.
Times.
We've definitely talked about specifically that Mama performance. I think when we talked about our like end of the year shows, we talked about it. Troublemaker was fucking great.
Yeah, it was great. And it was really interesting. Some comments I saw when I was watching the Mama stages or whatever was people being like, man, it was really, that was such a crazy time back then, because like Cube was no one, like, you know,
totally.
Like the big three. This is an interesting thing. Like, sorry to throw it in the middle of this episode, but people keep coming after us for our companies episode that we did over 2 years ago. LOL. That like we say that the big three is YGSM and JYP, and that's not the case anymore. YG is not in the big three anymore. Big Hit is now, because YG is like done for. But anyway, that's how things like change. Point is back then in 2011, the big three was very important and they were the big three and everyone else was
like no one could compete with them. It was like they locked out the competition, which isn't the case anymore. Like
No.
the face of K-pop and the landscape of the industry has totally changed. But at the time, Cube was no one.
So they were doing these like very shocking things to get attention and it worked. So it's just like interesting to look at like because this is like so racy and it's so crazy.
And honestly, in hindsight, like the fucking irony of their reaction to Hyuna after
Pushing
pulling
this
shit
kind of
like
stuff.
this.
Yeah, it's really odd. It's all very odd. But the point is that Troublemaker was a very big deal. The album immediately went to number one. People were super, super into it.
Yeah.
Because I think something that I've learned through looking at this or just in general is that like people like to tut and tisk about like overly sexual things, but everybody like buys it. Like people are into it anyway. The controversy like helps it in a way.
Totally.
And I think that's something that Cube was using to push Hyuna her whole career.
Yeah.
So that was Troublemaker at the very end of 2011. In spring 2012, Hyuna was on a show called Birth of a Family, which was a dog rescue show.
I read about that. That was so cute. It was a charity thing.
Yeah, so that was like her first like public being a dog girl thing. She loves dogs. There's
love
also
dogs.
another really great clip that I love where she's doing, it's from a 4-minute reality show. And they ask her like, say something to your future husband. And then she fully talks like an actual baby. And she's like, and she tells her future husband that I hope that she'll cook him steak every day for breakfast, but that he has to be okay with living with 101 dogs and that him and the dogs will live on the bottom floor and she will live upstairs. And like 4 minutes is just like staring at her while she's like saying this. And they're like, they'll probably be like very happy. And like, I don't know. She loves dogs. So she did this dog show and she liked it. And that was March 2012.
In April is
yes.
the next thing I have, right?
Yep.
So 4-Minute released their third EP called Volume Up, which had a title track of the same name.
This is a song that I know from dance class warm up.
Yeah. It had, I mean,
It's got the right BPM.
It does. And it went to number one on M Countdown. So it was, you know, moderately successful. It didn't stay there for long, but
Right.
it got there at one point.
Also, the music video was extremely expensive for the time. It cost over $130,000. And I am assuming that is Troublemaker money that they suddenly have because they all do look amazing in this music video.
They look incredible.
There's a really cool look where they're wearing like those like cropped matador jackets in like leather but long sleeved, and then these like awesome leather skirts.
Yes.
And one of the girls has a really ornate crown at a point. There's just like a really cool like sexy vampire royalty, and then people like poof into smoke dementors and stuff. Like the budget is there for
The
this
budget
music
is there
video.
for sure. I also wrote that it was sexy vampire themed. It's all like red and black leather looks. And there's like really cool choreography of the girls like they're like in a like slutty vampire coven, like lesbian coven or something.
Oh,
'cause they're,
there's a lot of
all
like
over each
homoerotic
other,
like rubbing
yeah.
in many 4-minute songs.
Yes. But as particular
This one for sure. So July 15th, 2012 is a big moment for Hyuna in that she has a cameo in the Gangnam Style music video.
Yes, she was personally chosen by Psy to participate in the music video.
And as we all know, that was a global phenomenon, put K-pop on the map for many people.
Yeah.
And
Brought a ton of recognition toward her in particular.
yes, and they very quickly did a follow-up answer remix. I don't even know what you would call it, called Oppa's Just My Style, where Hyuna sings like some of the verse. It's mostly Gangnam Style, but like there's extra Hyuna verses, and she says Oppa Gangnam Style, but like whatever. And that music video is super weird to me because she's wearing like a silver cupcake dress, but she also has no eyeliner, no lashes, no lipstick on, and just has like a line of silver eyeshadow under her eyes. And she looks so different. Like she doesn't look like herself because she has like no eye makeup on. It's very weird.
Strange. But that came out in August.
Yes. And then in October, Hyuna put out her second mini album called Melting.
Her second solo.
Yeah, solo mini, Melting. And the single is called Ice Cream. And we're going to save it because when we do deep dives, we save the most popular music video to watch at the end. And we've already watched Bubble Pop because we already got her in the random game. So we go to next one in line, which is Ice Cream. Psy is in this music video, returning the favor, I assume, from like having her in like now they're intertwined because she was in Gangnam Style, so he'll pop into her music video.
And now they're bros. This song is produced by Brave Brothers.
Yes, they'll come up a lot.
They come up a lot. She had already previously featured on one of their tracks like 1 or 2 years before this. And this EP includes her first 2 writing credits in the songs To My Boyfriend and Very Hot.
Yes. And the Ice Cream music video got 8 million views in 2 days, which was a record breaker at the time. And it was also, at the time, the fastest K-pop music video to reach 20 million views.
Yeah. So
people were looking. People were looking at Hyuna. In 2012, at the Gayo Daejun, something we've talked about, go to our year-end episode for more, they put together some weird temporary mixed company groups, and she was in one called Dazzling Red, and they performed a song at Gayo. March 2013 is Hyuna's Corolla commercial song that we talked about in the Idol CF's episode, and she also went to South by Southwest that year, which we talked about in our K-pop in America episode.
Yeah, we've covered her a lot.
We've covered so much of this stuff.
The only other thing I have before April of 2013 is that they did a United Cube tour from January to February of 2013, which had like Beast and 4 Minute and like other artists under the Cube label that all toured around Asia together.
SM Town or JYP Family.
Yeah, exactly.
Company concerts. April 26th, 2013, 4th 4-minute mini called Name is 4 Minute. And the single was called What's Your Name?
What's your name? What's your name? What's your name? What's your name?
This song was their first #1 on the Gaon chart, and it also went to #1 on Billboard World.
Yes. I also read that it went to #1 on Billboard K-Pop 100 in June, later that summer.
This music video is very interesting. It's like very, very neon, like their debut music video. But then there are like neon clown zombies that like attack them halfway through the music video. And it's so weird. I don't know where it comes from.
It's very strange. And also, Hyuna's wearing these weird fishnet shorts throughout like the whole thing, which is just a very odd look. It's like large cut bikini bottoms, but then underneath is just like biker shorts, but instead of being solid fabric, they're fishnets. And they're different lengths and they're different colors and they're very ugly.
Yeah, but she has bangs and a half ponytail and slightly honey-colored hair, and it's cute. But sweet Hyuna fainted on stage while they were doing their first week of music show comebacks, so she got pulled from this promotion. By the time they put out the second single, which is called Is It Poppin', she got to come back. That song was also banned because they used the English word ass.
Yeah, that came out
It's also terrible.
I didn't think it was that bad, to be honest.
Hated it.
I didn't think it was that bad. It came out on my birthday, June 28th. And it was supposed to be, like, Cube said it was supposed to be a cutesy song, but it does say the English word ass, so it got banned.
But it says big ass. It's like, get your big ass out of here.
Also, Soda's NCT long ass ride. Yeah. Like, whatever, ass.
That was many years later.
Anyway, that's true. It was many years later. But Is It Poppin' peaked at #9 on the Gaon chart and was #6 on the Billboard K-Pop 100. So other people didn't think it was that bad.
Okay. I won't play it now. It's on the playlist. Is It Poppin'?
Why not play it now?
Okay.
Why not?
Here. This is what Is It Poppin' sounds like. I think it's too boring.
I think it's fine.
For something that's poppin'.
Fair. You know what? Fair enough. I read that the Korean version of that title is slang that is used by men in the club asking women if they are hot. And it is basically the equivalent of how's the water.
Interesting. Okay. That's
Fun fact.
Yeah, and in the music video, they're just wearing like t-shirts and cutoff shorts and like standing in a hot tub and dancing in a warehouse. It's like very simple.
It was just supposed to be cute.
And Hyuna has like 3 new tattoos. New in this point in time. So another milestone, important milestone for all of us out there. August 3rd, 2013, Hyuna joined Instagram. Her @ is at HYUNAH_AA. Follow her if you don't already. But that was an important moment because she loves Instagram.
But also
early adopter.
If you don't already follow her and have never looked at her Instagram, be prepared to be inundated with posts because she is a person who on the days that she posts like 5 posts in a row and each one of the 5
minimum.
Minimum. And then each post has like 3 to 7 pictures in it.
She feeds me so
she
good.
puts I personally have gotten to a point where sometimes I'm like, okay.
Her own cousin on her reality show was like, I'm gonna unfollow you.
Posted. Yes, I always think about that. When I was watching Hyuna, her cousin on it was just like, honestly, it's too much.
I love it. October 28, 2013. Troublemaker comes back with an EP called Chemistry, and the single was called Now. So the teasers for this video, or for this album, were so dirty. The whole photo book is just the two of them.
Dirty like filthy or dirty like sexy? Or
like,
both? Honestly, both.
Honestly, both. Because
the whole aesthetic is like trailer Bonnie and Clyde, like we do drugs and rob banks.
Right. There's so much smoking. So there's like a constant like cloud of smoke over both the music videos and the teasers. But the teasers in the album jacket, they're like in bed in their underpants, or Hyuna's solos are her in different sets of lingerie in a really dirty like a dirty bathtub. Ugh. That's dirty.
Gross.
There was even an extra horny special edition of this album that they printed 3,000 copies of, that have like even sexier pictures in it or whatever. But this was a comeback. I was like, I was in K-pop. I was present. I was there for this. And it shook me so hard because I had like a thing I had learned in my few months of being a K-pop fan is that K-pop is like innocent.
Yeah.
And this music video is like so sexual and also violent and also the drugs and also like every bit of it just felt like shocking to me. And like, people make K-pop like this.
This music video, I feel like, because it's interesting, like when we talk about our exposure to like Korean pop culture in different ways.
Yeah.
Because obviously we got into K-pop first, which like you said is very innocent in a lot of ways. And then we started watching like Korean dramas, and then we started watching Korean movies.
Right.
And Korean movies have a completely different tonality to them than K-pop, because Korean movies are often very dark.
Yeah.
And so I would say that like this music video has much more the sensibilities of like Korean movies.
Yes.
Where there's like a tragic, terrible, like gritty, often violent ending.
Right.
But set to this like fun pop song.
Right.
So it's very interesting, the dichotomy of Korean music industry versus the movies.
And I think it's I think it has a lot to do with the like broadcasting laws, because like on Korean television, you can't show cigarettes or knives or guns or any kinds of weapons.
Yeah,
like
they
you
get
just
blurred
can't
out.
show those things. So that this music video has all of those elements. It's like, it's like shocking. There's we've talked about this before. There's like a 7-minute uncut version of this music video that has like a longer plot for like Hyun Sung's like gang behavior or whatever.
Yeah.
But I just love the aesthetic of this. Hyuna has like a short blonde bob with like dark roots, and she has black eyeliner and red lipstick, and it's like the aesthetic is like a lacy bra with a giant fur coat, and like, god damn it if that's not like the coolest. She's like sitting in front of open fridges and like, oh, my man, he's so bad, and like, oh, I love it.
It's pretty great, and it was wildly popular. This song was an all kill. It went to number 1 on all of the music shows, double crown on M Countdown, triple crown on Show Champion, number 1 on the Billboard K-pop Hot 100. Super, super popular. Troublemaker itself was like incredibly successful.
Yeah, it was really popular. The people clearly wanted it.
People tisk at Hyuna being sexy all the time, but they fucking love it when she's sexy with that beast guy.
Yeah.
So
it was very interesting.
It's fine.
But the other thing that I thought was interesting about the Troublemaker EPs, both of them, is that they only have the one song with Hyuna and Hyunsung, and then the rest of the album is like Hyuna and a rapper, Hyunsung by himself, a Hyuna solo. It's like,
yeah, it's really strange.
They didn't sing together more than once, and the rest of the album was filled with like solos and collabs from either of them, which I thought was weird.
It is very strange. It seems like no surprise if Cube were to have mismanaged it. What?
Why?
But yeah, it seems like a real missed opportunity because the 2 songs that they did actually do together were incredibly popular, like both went to number 1. So why you wouldn't do more of what is clearly a recipe for success, I don't know. But I won't pretend to understand anything that Cube does.
Why even bother? It's not worth your time. So March 17, 2014.
Yeah, next year.
New year, 4-minute, 5th EP called 4-Minute World. And the single is called What You Doing Today? Whatcha, Harry. So this is 4-Minute's best song, if you ask me. I love it. I think it's good.
I mean, that's fair. It was their first single that debuted at number 1, and they even were able to beat both To Anyone and Girls' Generation at Inkigayo with What You Doing Today.
Wow. The music video is very interesting. Every single person in the music video, both 4-Minute and the weird maids and butler characters, are wearing outfits made entirely of that shiny pleather plastic Halloween costume material.
Yes.
That's so wild. It's a really weird music video. It's like very, very homoerotic, just like piles and piles of women like stroking each other's like boobs and butts and stuff. And everything's so shiny, and there's like girls in French maid costumes. I can't tell what's going on, but it's a lot. It's very shiny. It's very pleather. It's very sexy, but this song is fun.
This song is fun. I agree. The song is fun.
The next thing I have is that in July of 2014, Hyuna's first reality show, Hyuna's Free Month, started airing on MTV. You can still find Hyuna's Free Month on YouTube, totally subbed. In the second episode, they give her a puppy named Passion, who's like a little Maltese. And lots of people think that that is Sogum. It's not. This was a different time. It was just a dog that they gave her for a reality show. She did not get to keep it. But it's just like a standard pre-album reality show, a little bit of her hanging at home with this dog, a little bit of dance practice, a little bit of everything.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a promotional effort for her upcoming solo release, which we'll talk about in a minute. And wait, I just had something that I was going to say about this. Oh, it was originally titled Sexy Queen, and then it got renamed Hyuna's Free Month, which is pretty fucking hilarious, but
Sexy Queen.
Anyway, so it preceded her next solo release.
Her third EP, it's called A Talk, and the single is, of course, Red. Red is this was like such a moment for me personally, like when this came out. Because like I said, she was that girl that I knew was like the girl from Troublemaker, and she seemed like this untouchable diva, and I assumed she was 10 years older than me, and like, I don't know. But then this song came out, and the music video is just like so aesthetically pleasing. She's so beautiful.
Long-haired, black-haired Hyuna is a queen.
I love when her hair is black.
Hyuna's always a queen, but black-haired Hyuna is
the queeniest of queens.
The rest. Yeah, this music video is amazing. It is super iconic. It has like monkeys with red butts and Hyuna in
because
red
the
underwear.
chorus is monkeys' butts are red and Hyuna is red.
Yeah.
So it's not, that is the chorus.
No, there's supposed to be
coming out of
monkeys in it,
nowhere.
and there's supposed to be butts in it, and it's great. That little move that she does during the little chest thing.
This is
a move that I incorporate a lot.
Yeah.
Into my own dancing.
This is the first K-pop song I ever tried to learn the choreography to. And I remember it resurfaces on my Facebook memories every summer when around July. Because I posted on Facebook that like I had tried to learn the chorus to this, and it has a from full standing to ground like squat, and then standing again, and it's like a lot of legs. And at the time, I was still living in Texas. I wasn't doing K-pop dance. I was not in good shape at all. So I spent like an afternoon trying to learn the chorus to this. And then the next day at my job, I like tried to get up to go to the bathroom and I lost my legs from under me like a baby deer. And so I wrote on Facebook like, oh no, I tried to learn this Hyuna song and now my legs are, so I'll never forget it because I documented it forever.
Oh, that's so funny. Well, just some facts.
Yeah.
This was her first solo win. She won on Show Champion. It was named number 5 of the top music videos of 2014 for Rolling Stone, and it peaked at number 3 on the Gaon chart. So it was a successful song for her.
Something about the song I just wanted to note is that I think this song is the first in something that I think of as a Hyuna trend, which is when she does her powerful ho anthems, as like someone online would call them. They almost always have a bridge where the bridge is very insecure sounding and small and vaguely creepy. This is something that like keeps happening in her songs, and I feel like it's an artistic like note of hers, like trying to show the sides of herself, because like she is like a very shy, like insecure, like cute little girl, but like she's also Hyuna, the queen Hyuna. And I don't buy any kind of narration where people say that like she's forced into this and she doesn't like it, because I don't buy it.
I don't buy it.
And she said a million times that like every time she does a comeback, it's like she's trying to find her truest self on stage. So like I don't believe that this is something, I don't think she like hates being a sex symbol. I don't think she hates it, but
yeah, especially finish your thought.
No, just that like there's a dichotomy in all of her songs of this just like, yeah, I'm a free bitch, like woo, I'm Hyuna, I'm red, and then she's like, please don't leave me alone, like just for a second, and then like comes back, and I feel like that runs through a lot of her main singles, and I just think that's an interesting like artistic choice.
It is interesting because it's like it's a very conscious effort to like show the sort of multifacets of her personality, which I think a lot of artists, and lately more artists are like talking about the struggle that they feel with presenting different sides of themselves. But it's like, you know, it's like 17 coming out with Fear and like trying to like, hey, we wanted to for the first time show you not a cutesy side of ourselves or whatever. But there was something I was going to say about Hyuna. Oh, as far as her not wanting to be a sex symbol or whatever, like if you even just, we talked about this when Flower Shower first came out, but like if she didn't want to be sexy, then she wouldn't have been sexy in Flower Shower. And that song, everyone was bitching about it being too cutesy, but it is very sexy.
Yeah.
And
she
like,
just is hot. Sorry.
And she's wearing like sexy outfits, and the choreo is sexy. She's like literally body rolling on that sexy guy with his heart tattoo. Oh, I love him so much.
Stay tuned later.
We'll talk about it.
I have a list about Hyuna's crew.
Anyway.
But also one more note about Red before we move on. Hyuna herself considers this the most important moment of her career. She says that this is when she started getting little kids at the convenience store being like, Hyuna, it's Hyuna. Like that's when she knew that she was actually famous, is when this song came out.
Yeah. And I think it's very significant that like this is the song that she won on her own.
Yeah. All by herself. And she's Red. The next thing I have on my timeline is just a thing that I had to write because it's part of the story. But somewhere around mid 2014, some kid named Kim Hyo-jong starts working at Cube, and Hyuna develops a mad crush on him. And apparently, so does everyone else at the company. More on that later. February 9th, 2015.
January 26th, the pre-release Cold Rain.
Cold Rain. Oh, I have that in the next part. Okay. So in January, 4 Minute releases a ballad called Cold Rain.
Called For Rain.
For Cold Rain. It should have been because everything has a 4. No, but this was the first and only time that they released a ballad as a single. Mm-hmm. It did not sell well, and it only like peaked overnight at 15. So then in February, they put out not a full album because they only had the one, a 6th EP called Crazy. And the single is also called Crazy. This is the only 4 Minute album I own. So this music video is so iconic. Mm-hmm. It's fully black and white, and all of the girls are wearing bucket hats with their names in giant all caps across the front, which I feel like is like such a striking image, and like that's why
that's why people like. I bet if you have never heard that song or seen all of the music video, you've seen at least a screen grab or little clip of them in their bucket hats.
So this music video hit 100 million views in November, and that made 4 Minute the first ever non-Big 3 girl group to get 100 million views on a music video.
Wow. This song also debuted at #1 on the Billboard World Charts, so it was very popular.
Yeah, and like I said, this is the only 4 Minute album that I own in its entirety, and it's a really fun album. All of the songs have this same like hard hip-hop vibe with like an interesting use of weird sound effects and stuff. There's a song called Tickle Tickle that I believe was like set to the cacao notification sound. So anyway, it's an interesting album, and I think that it's pretty good. 2015. And yeah, iconic bucket hats, black and white music video. Crazy. August 21st, 2015. Hyuna puts out her 4th EP, and it's called A+, and the single is called Roll Deep, or I'm a God Girl, or I'm the Best. It gets translated a lot of ways.
I feel like Roll Deep is the most common.
I think so. So this song was featuring Il-hoon from B2B. Mm-hmm. However, Il-hoon only was able to perform this song with Hyuna one time. So the rest of the time, she got that kid named Hyo-jong that she has a massive crush on to do it with her instead. Their hair matched perfectly. They were so beautiful. So basically 98% of the Roll Deep stages have Baby Hyo in them. Watch them.
Yeah.
Watch them.
They're good.
They're so cute. But
their matching blonde hairs really
it's so
really
good.
And it's literally the same shade.
It's the same color. And Hyuna has like very wispy, overgrown bangs in this comeback, and they're so perfect. And this music video is like such an important like touchstone in my life. I remember it came out, and I already knew that I was moving to LA in 2 weeks. My house was like half packed up. And I specifically remember waking up very early that morning because there was a new Hyuna music video, and I watched it at my kitchen table, and like it's burned in my mind. But this music video is so goddamn iconic. Like the ski masks and the girls on chains, that Jessica Simpson pink bikini with the jeans.
Yeah.
Like every bit of it, it's just... oh, it's so good.
Didn't she also release a racier 19 plus version of this music video?
There is. It's barely different. Her dancers in one of the scenes are just wearing panties instead of pants. And so there's more shots of that in the like unrated version, but it's truly barely different.
I mean, the rated version or whatever, the like original not racy version is very racy. Like there's so many butt shots and there's just like so many times where like it's just a close-up on a twerking butt.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. And she's, like, not wearing a real shirt for, like, the whole thing.
And I just love the aesthetic of this whole album so much. There's a couple videos. There's the album teaser video, and there's also an album intro video called Run and Run for this album. That's, like, a bunch of B-roll that Hyuna shot in L.A., and there's a shot of her in the canyons in Malibu wearing a leather jacket without a shirt underneath it, just like middle tit leather jacket, hitchhiking. She looks incredible. There's several topless shots at the pool and at the beach. She's like covering herself, but she's like fully topless. Like the whole aesthetic of this album was like Hyuna goes to LA and throws a party. So there's like these extra videos that don't have anything to do with Roll Deep, but they were like filmed at the same time.
Yeah.
And the aesthetic is very much like topless. Yeah. Like she just does not have a top on. She's like, there's no nips. She's careful, but like she's topless. Yeah. There's so much toplessness in this whole thing. The song peaked at 13 in Korea, but did very well in the States. If that is obvious.
The EP itself peaked at number 5 on the Gaon chart, but it dropped very quickly. But it did go to number 3 on the Billboard World Charts. So it was popular in the US and not very popular in Korea.
But it's good. Next thing is February 1?
Yes.
Okay. Next up, February 1st, 2016, 7th EP for 4 Minute. It's called Act 7, and the single was called Hate. So this song was written or produced, or somehow it's something to do with Skrillex.
Produced.
Okay. And I remember that being a very
possibly
big deal.
Also composed. Don't remember.
All I know is I remember when this comeback was announced, it was like Skrillex.
Yeah.
Wrote the 4 Minute song.
And it went to number 1 on the Billboard World. Personally, this is like the second song that we ever learned at our K-pop dance class. And I would say the first one that I felt successful in. For sure.
Yeah. I was literally just thinking as like a quarantine project that I'd like to brush up on Hate because it was a dance that I loved doing so much. And I think it's still... most of it is still back there in my brain somewhere, and it wouldn't take me long to like get it back.
Yeah.
But the vibe or the aesthetic of this music video is like half 4 Minute in like a smoky Coachella-y desert, and then the other half they're wearing white sweatsuits with Timbs and red bandanas. And it's just like a very
like
stark
a parking garage or something.
It's like a big white
warehouse,
just endless white room.
Oh, is it? I felt like I remembered it.
Oh, the dance practice. There's like a performance one that's in
the
like
dance version. Okay, okay.
That's more in like a parking garage.
I feel like I remember there being
because that's what we practiced with.
Yeah, that's what I used to practice.
So next thing on my timeline is, again, it's just important because this is important to my girl's story. So on May 9th, 2016, Hyuna got out the soju and she sat down at her kitchen table. And she texted Kim Hyo-jong to tell him that she loves him and she'll wait forever for him. And he responded by saying, "Cool, I love you too. We should date now." And so that was the official beginning of a beautiful, secret love affair.
If you want more details on how that love story unfolded, please watch the Hyuna episode of Knowing Brothers, which is fully subbed, and they tell you all the deets because little Heechul is like,
please tell me
kid
everything.
in a candy store with his cheeks all pushed up and just chin in hands being like, please tell me everything. And they do, and it's great.
June 13th, 2016, 4 Minute is abruptly and suddenly disbanded.
In a shady way.
So shady. We've discussed this before, but Hyuna was given another contract because she literally had a comeback already in the works. So she was given another contract that she easily signed. And the other 4 members of 4 Minute were fired through the media and did not even know that they had lost their jobs. Foreshadowing for how Hyuna would be treated later.
True.
But
very true.
not cool.
But very shitty in the sense that I think Hyuna was not aware of the way that her members were going to be treated.
Right.
Like it doesn't seem as though she was aware that 4 Minute was ending. And it was like very backhanded and manipulative the way that Cube handled that. And I think it probably ruined a lot of the relationships that Hyuna had with those members, which is very unfair because it seems like she had nothing to do with it and yet ended up sort of coming out the bad guy in that because she was the only one whose career was salvaged. So that was rough.
So in July of 2016, another Hyuna reality show, this one's called Hyuna X19, begins airing. Again, I've also linked this in the playlist. You can watch the vast majority of it online still. But the first episode, like on this 4 Minute disbandment, the first episode begins with Hyuna doing a press conference for the album that's about to come out. And all the press keep asking her, like, what are you doing? Like, you're all like, how does it feel to be all by yourself now that your group is gone? And like asking her questions. And she keeps saying, like, the way you're phrasing your questions, it's like they didn't exist. It's like we didn't work together for 7 years. Like, you all are hurting my feelings right now. Like, whatever. And she tries to get through the press conference as best as she can. And then when it ends, she just literally goes in a room and like sobs. And she's just like, it's not fair. Like, I don't care if they hate me, but like they can't talk about the members that way. Like, they didn't do anything. And you can tell that she just feels so guilty that she's like the one that like survived, quote unquote, this thing that she didn't know was happening. And it's just like, it's very, very hard to watch because I think Cube did her so dirty doing that right before a solo comeback, knowing that she'd have to stick to it when they had just fired her whole group.
Yeah. And like not debriefed her on any of it. Like it wasn't like a discussion that the members had. And like, I'm sure they all knew that their contracts were coming up. Did they talk together and thought about continuing? Like, who knows? But Cube fucking sucks, and this is proof. Anyway, in August, 5th EP, it's called Awesome, but there's a little apostrophe between the A and the W because the A and the Hyuna is important. So the single for this one is called 어때? Or How's This? So this is just like a party club banger. It's like the whole choreography is all like literal shaking, like shaking. This is a choreography that we know and love and did in class. This is definitely one of the most fun dances we've ever learned.
It's super fun.
Sure. It's super fun.
The music video itself had over 100 extras in this big, massive club party scene. It's like very, very multicultural, like the amount of like people being represented in Hyuna's club.
Yeah, we talked a lot, like way back in our first like 10 episodes, we did like an episode about music videos and who produces them. This music video was produced by Zany Bros, which is like a very popular music video producer. And it reached over 2 million views in 24 hours, which was a very big deal for this point in time. The album itself peaked at number 2 on the Gaon chart, and the single went to number 5.
In the music video as well, you can see it in an episode of Hyuna X19 where they shoot the music video. Hyuna cast the boy that she makes out with all by herself. She got to pick who she makes out with. And that's a big part of the music video. And this album, I just like had to like note the lyrics in this album. My God. Like we haven't noted it, but since you first noted that she was writing her raps in 4 Minute, like Hyuna's been responsible for her own lyrics, like since that point.
Pretty much.
And the lyrics on this album, like, I don't know, she's got a man's now, but they're so dirty. There's a song on this album called Freaky, and it's like, come over here and play with me. Like Nuna is like, she keeps calling herself Nuna in the song.
Oh dear.
It's so dirty. And then there's another song called Wolf because she learned about how like male wolves like imprint on a female and will never leave them even if the female doesn't care
Twilight?
anymore.
Is
I
that
don't
when
know.
This came out.
No, it was 2016. Twilight was like way done by 2016.
No, it wasn't.
Wouldn't all of them have been out by then?
Yeah. No. You're right. I was thinking when this has been fucking me up this whole time. I keep thinking, 2016, when I was 16. No, bitch, you were not 16 in 2016. Anyway, you're right.
Yes.
Twilight was way over by this point.
Way over. But anyway,
The song Wolf.
The lyrics, yes, the song Wolf, it's like about it's a duet with like some other guy, but the lyrics are about like a male wolf who like found his lady wolf and she's like, and you're never gonna leave me, right? Anyway, it's just very interesting to know for a fact here now in the future that her life had changed significantly, and then so did her lyrical content. But whatever, this album is good. Awesome.
This is a good album. I love the album art for it. It's like a beautiful cartoon.
It's a drawing of her surrounded by flowers, and she looks so pretty.
It is very pretty. The only other thing I have for 2016 before we get to 2017 and start wrapping things up is that she went on her first solo Asia tour this year.
Very nice. On February 17th, 2017, that's the day after my birthday, Aings were born. This is the name of Hyuna's fans. She picked the name herself. The A is obviously the big A at Hyuna, and Aing is like how you end things to be cute. So it's just Aing, and she just picked it because it's cute. It does not mean anything more. It's just cute, and she picked it. So we're called Aings. And she announced this at her 10th anniversary fan meet. And Pentagon, basically Dawn and two other people, come out to surprise her at the end. She cries so hard. Aww. Which looking back now is like, what is this? Like, some trainee boys from another group came by and you cried this hard? No, because her soulmate came, god damn it.
And he had to bring two of his bros to make it not
cover
obvious.
it up. Aings don't have an official fan color or anything, but when people make fan signs or do websites or like the fan sites or whatever, we usually represent us with a pineapple or pineapple-y colors because Hyuna loves pineapples. So
she also, in celebrating her 10th anniversary, visited 10 North American cities.
Yes, and I did not go. I remember. Because it was like at a very little club. Because she doesn't perform, like, again, she's not doing stadiums. She's just Hyuna. Okay. Next thing I have is in April of 2017. A program called Triple H Detective Agency starts airing on E-Asia.
Sometimes called Triple H Fun Agency.
This is a chronicling of the development and debut of Triple H.
We've talked about Triple H in our co-ed groups. They were, and obviously like many, many times since then, but they were a trio of Hyuna, and originally it was like two unnamed pentagons, and then it came out to be Hui and Hyojong.
Or Edon still at the time.
But that's why it's called Triple H, because all their names start with H.
So the first EP is called 1990X, which I think I've said before. Hyuna has 1990X tattooed on her side, and she has for many, many years. I think that's where it came from. The single is called 365 Fresh.
I'm 365 so fresh. E-S-N-H, so fresh.
So the first thing that I wrote in my notes under this is, there's no way we can talk about this any more than we already have, right?
I guess. But I have tears in my eyes right now. I miss being able to appreciate you unproblematically.
It's really sad. But this album reached number 4 at the charts at some point, but the song barely cracked 85. I feel like this is one of those sad, slept-on, missed comebacks, and I include myself. As a hardcore Hyuna stan, when this came out, I ignored it because I was so mad at her red eyebrows. I could not get over her ginger eyebrows that I was just like, I don't even Won it.
Yeah, I also slept on this comeback, which I'm ashamed to say as like a lover of Hui. But I also slept on this because I remember when it first came out, I didn't like it. Was like, I remember thinking it seemed derivative of Uptown Funk because Uptown Funk had recently come out.
Yes.
And it has a similar sound
horns
to
and
it. The horns and the like bass licks of it. So I felt a little like disappointed in it, but I was wrong.
Yeah, we were wrong.
This song is a fucking
It's
banger.
so good.
This whole EP is incredible.
Perfect.
It's beautiful. Hui is amazing, and I miss you. Triple H in general. He's still around. The album itself, like you said, it did like it went to number 4 on the Gaon chart, and it went to number 10 on the Billboard chart. But again, 365 Fresh wasn't a smash.
Yeah,
success.
it definitely did not grab people the same way that Troublemaker did. And looking back at it now, I like wonder if the real hidden relationship in it had something to do with that. Because like I wonder looking back at it now, like if maybe she was not actually involved with one of them, if like maybe she would have also been all up on Hui, or like, I don't know. I wonder if the trio element would have like, because even in this first music video, like her and Hyo were kissing and Hui splits them up. Like
Totally.
Even though they tried to like say it was polyamory, like Hui was fully being third wheeled, like always. Wheeled. So I don't know. It's just interesting that it just didn't pop off. And I don't know if it was
wasn't the third wheel. He's the front wheel of the tricycle because he's the star.
I know. You're right. You're right. I'm just saying. It didn't
maybe.
It didn't pop off the same way the Troublemaker
But
did.
it also, I think, was coming from a different place as far as fans are concerned because nobody gave a shit about Pentagon.
True. They still barely give a shit about Pentagon.
I was going to say. I was like, maybe they don't really know.
care about them still. But Beast was way more popular.
Big. And so like here, like Troublemaker, you're taking 2 well-established artists already. And Triple H, you're taking 1 well-established artist and these 2 nobodies. Like literally nobodies. And then like hoping that people care enough. And I don't think they did.
They didn't really.
Yeah.
So then in August of 2017, Hyuna put out her 6th EP, which is called Following. And the single is called Bebe.
But it's spelled like babe. B-A-B-E.
Yes, babe. Bebe.
Babe.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
나도 이렇게 될 줄은 몰랐어 널 보고 있으면 나도 모르게 날 뜻하시나 봐.
So Babe, the song went to number 13 and the album went to number 9.
Number 5 on the Billboard World.
Yeah, this is the one physical Hyuna album I own. It's very big and tall, and the aesthetic of it was all black and white makeupless pictures. She's just wearing like a white button down, no makeup, sun shining in the windows. It's so lovely. This album is very, very good. This is the album that has Purple on it, her love confession song with Donnie, and it also has like a song with Wooseok from Pentagon, and it's got a song called Dart that I love. We'll get to recommendations later. Anyway, this is Babe. And yeah,
we know this choreo too.
We know this choreo too, and I love it. And
fun.
Also, just a note, I don't want to fight about Babe. Don't send me that conspiracy video. I fucking hate it. I don't want to talk about it.
I don't know what the conspiracy
you don't.
is.
It's just like this video where somebody like, I don't know. I don't want to.
Does it have to do with the lyrical content of Babe? Because can you summarize for us like the story of Babe? Because I remember when I first watched, when we were learning it for dance and I first listened to it, I was like a little bit turned off, but because basically throughout the whole song, she gets younger and younger, right? She's like, I can be 25, I can be 21, I can be 17, 15, whatever. She's like, can't like let me be your baby. But it's like a tongue-in-cheek like criticism. No?
I mean, guess it's however you want to interpret it, I guess. Like the lyrics on their head, there is nothing sinister happening. The YouTube lyrics put weird things in it, like you're looking at me with a creepy smile, which is not in the like. There are things in the YouTube translation that are like not really in the Korean. In the Korean, it's truly just simply a song about a girl with a younger boyfriend who makes her feel young. Like that's all that's in the lyrics. But the music video, I guess, does allude to maybe her making a comment about the way that possibly people treated her when she was 17, 15, being sexualized in these music videos.
Yeah.
And so every comment on the Babe music video is people being like, I used to like this song and then I watched this conspiracy video and now I think it's like terrifying and horrible. And I'm like, I don't want to fight about Babe. And like, I don't know. I don't want to put that, and Hyuna didn't tell me that. So I'm not putting that on my... I'm not putting it on there.
Fair enough.
I don't know. We could cut all of that. I don't care. I'm just saying. I don't want to fight about Babe.
If you don't want to have any of that content in this episode, fine. I had never heard of the conspiracy theory, but anyway, I like that song. I think it's fun.
I think it's fun too.
And I liked learning the choreo to it. What's next?
Next, December 4th, 2007, a digital single, not a full album. The single is called Lip and Hip, and it debuted at the Melon Music Awards. So like I said, this song was performed and like showed to the world for the first time at the Melon Music Awards in 2017. An early recommendation. I truly think this is one of her greatest performances ever. It's so strong. She's like singing really hard. Like, I don't know.
She sounds great.
It's a very, very quality Hyuna performance. She rides out on a Hummer.
Yeah.
It's fun.
And my favorite dancer with the heart tattoo is just shirtless and next to her.
Yeah.
She looks great.
This song went to 13 and the album went to, this song peaked at 16, excuse me.
Yes.
And it's aesthetically like very, very, very strong. Very, very bright colors. Hyuna's hair is kind of blonde and permed, and she wore like red eye makeup, like big red eye makeup. Lots of weird earrings and like furry stuff. Her backup dancers are wearing like full footy teddy bear pajamas.
Yeah.
And then in the music video, she's like a girl with like braces, like putting on, and she puts on new panties and they make her feel confident to like leave the house. But she's also eating French fries on the toilet at one point. And like, I don't know, it's very
A
cheeky.
lot of things are happening in that music video.
It's very cheeky. It's very bright. It's very fun.
This is the one that has the like CGI underwear, right? Where
Yes.
it like it's like
the
underwear
universe.
and they put like they like green screen images onto the undies.
Yes, it's very cute. There's also, she stands in front of a McDonald's sign that says, But Donald's. And that's just funny. But Donald's is funny.
That's funny.
So that was how we ended 2017, was with a Hyuna single. Another note I have is May 30th, 2018 is the first time that we saw Kim Seogum on her Instagram.
That's her dog.
Seogum is Hyuna's bichon. He is a boy, and Seogum means salt, because he's white and fluffy, and he's a good boy, and he seeps so good, and his legs are so funny, and when he stands, he looks so funny.
When he stands
I
up, he
love
looks
him.
like a person because he has these like chonky little legs and these like very well-defined shoulders, and he just looks like a little man.
I love Seogum. So that was the first time we saw him. I don't know when she got him officially, but that's the first time we saw him, is in May 2018. July 18, 2018.
Yes.
Triple H comes out with a second EP called Retrofuturism, and the single was called Retro Future. I know the sighs. So we've talked about this a lot of times, but the concept of this one is The Purge, but make it fashion.
Yeah.
Hyuna, Hyo, and we like break into some stuffy model looking people's house, and they torture them with sexy party times. And I've also noticed there's a scene in the music video where there's like a room that's like full of plants and all these eyebrowless models are like climbing in the plants. And Chanel has an ad that I get on YouTube all the time that looks exactly the same. They fucking stole it.
Especially because the outfits that Hyo and Hui are wearing in that plant room are like frilly see-through
turtlenecks,
white, like fluffy tops. They're like very frilly blouses and like huge pearls, and that's so Chanel. So yeah, I don't know if it was a collab or a steal, but those two things are very aesthetically similar.
Very true. And something that I wrote, because it had been quite a while since I had watched this, and now that it's like been years, I wrote like, Hyuna are wild and so hard in the stages. Of course they got fucking caught. They had got crazy by this part.
Not hiding it.
No.
And especially in like because didn't they do a little reality show or whatever to promote this as well? No, they just did a bunch. But what's all that behind the scenes?
Oh, there's a 3-part.
There's
3 parts.
The music video.
There's a 3-part music video making thing on
and they
Cube's channel.
Yes, and they had like footage of their photo shoots and stuff, and it's just like very obvious that they're dating.
Yeah.
It's just very obvious.
It's very
There's
obvious.
like certain moments where Hui looks at them like, guys,
please
stop it. Poor Hui.
So
Anyway.
On that note, on August 2nd, I wrote, the entire shit show begins. And then here's an asterisk. If you want to know what I'm talking about, please see episodes 27 and a half and 34 and a half of this podcast. They're both bonuses, but that's where they fall between after 27 and after 34, where we talk about the entire scandal of Hyuna losing her job because of her boyfriend and all of the fallout and how long it took. We talked about it for hours.
Yeah.
So you can go back.
I believe the like episode where we outline all the timeline and details, etc., is called "We Need to Yell About Cube."
We need to talk about Cube.
It should have been called "We Need to Yell About Cube" because it's a lot of yelling.
Yes.
But yeah, literally all I wrote was August equals troubles. See previous episodes.
Yes, please see previous episodes.
And then October is officially out of Cube.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then January 29th, 2019, Hyuna and her boyfriend, whose name has officially at this moment changed to Dawn, sign with P Nation, which is Psy's label, bring it all back, all back full circle.
Her old pal Psy.
September 29th, 2019 is when the first episode of Hyuna Ing debuted on YouTube. This is Hyuna's new reality show that she films herself. So it's a very different vibe than the other two where she had like full crews and production and like topic.
Yeah.
This is literally just her filming her life, and they put it out in 15-minute chunks every Sunday. As of right now, if you're listening to this, there's probably 29 episodes for you to watch.
Yeah, there's quite a bit. It's a delight.
It's so good.
The first couple episodes are about the like flower shower promotions and preparation. And so in that sense, it has sort of a chronological order. But once you get to like the 5th episode, there's really no chronological order. It's just different little topics like, oh, my boyfriend cooks me dinner. And it's just like all these different footage like cut together of them cooking. And it's not just footage, like it's not just recent footage either. It's like cut together of a lot of different things that are maybe generally about the same topic. And it's just fun. It has kind of like a 90s digital aesthetic to it. And it's fun.
It's so good. So that's my first rec, because please watch Hyuna Ing. But then November 5th, 2019, digital single under P Nation called Flower Shower.
Sing this song. 이제 꼭 길로 나 걸어갈 거야. 그래 꽃들로 샤워할 거야. Take a flower shower.
This song was written and produced by Hyuna and Psy in a adorable collaboration. It only peaked at number 54 on the Gaon chart, but it did go to number 6 on the Billboard charts. It got a lot of criticism for being like too cutesy or whatever, like, well, who is this Hyuna? Blah, 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 blah. People being bitches.
Right.
But she said that she wanted the concept to be like a Disney princess. This is exactly what she wanted to do.
Right.
And she nailed it.
Yeah, and we talked about it at the time, and it wasn't that long ago, but this was released. Her and Dawn released their stuff at the exact same time, which was like gimmicky and precious in a perfect way, and they held hands at the press conference, and I cried for 100 years. But this song is like a beautiful tribute to herself.
Yeah.
That she deserves because she is a flower rising from the ground after the winter time. And she deserves it. And also this one line, I'm going to play really quick, which I think is really, really, really cute. So she said, 머리부터 발끝까지 Hyuna는 발게요. So 머리부터 발끝까지 means like from head to toe. And that first 4-minute song goes, 머리부터 발끝까지 hot issue. And then Hyuna는 발게요 is Hyuna is red. So she says from head to toe, Hyuna is red. And that's like her whole...
Career.
It's like a beautiful, I just think that's so cute.
Yeah. She's a very thoughtful artist.
She's thoughtful, and this song was so beautiful and precious. And a thing I wrote down because I hadn't watched the music video in a while, that frog onesie that she's wearing in the like meadow scenes did not get enough attention. And I wish that she could have like worn that on a stage or something.
I feel like I don't even remember the
Here,
frog
hold on.
onesie. I have a hard time seeing past my heart, man.
It's like a... Like this cute little like baby onesie at the
and then
very
she changes.
beginning.
Yeah,
it has frogs on it, and it's so cute.
It's very cute. I have a hard time seeing past the heart tattoo.
The heart tattoo guy. So the last life event I have of Hyuna's that's important is that on December 15th, her and Hyo got a new baby, and her name is Hennim. And she's a Shiba Inu, and she is a girl, despite confusing subs on an episode of Hyuna-ing. Hennim is a girl.
She is, because she calls Sogum Oppa.
Yes, in Hyuna's voice.
Yes.
Yeah, so now they have 2 babies.
And at some point, they moved in together.
Yes, they have a new house. And
that's
it's
unconfirmed.
Gorge. They got a new house and a new baby. And they're fucking thriving.
Definitely, like, married.
They're fully married. That's why I brought him up so many times in the, like, timeline, because it's not like, oh, this is some dumb boyfriend. Like, it's important.
Yeah, they have children together.
They have children and own property. Anyway, so in present, the thing I wrote down is she's been suspiciously quiet. And whenever she doesn't post on Instagram for a long time, I always know something is up.
Something's up. I hope she's working. I hope they're both working on full albums, because both her and Dawn only released singles.
Yes, I want more
so far, and we all deserve more.
So that's the whole timeline. But one last thing I like wrote down here before we watch Ice Cream, and I'll wrap it up with my final thoughts, is like some people, Hyuna's crew, that you might see around her and want to know who they are. So the first person is Jong-sul, also just known as Sul. And this is Hyuna's stylist, and she's been her stylist since her very first, since the Hot Issue music video. And they talk in an episode of Hyuna 19 that Sul made Hyuna wear those heels, and she did not want to wear the heels, and she cried and threw a fit. And Sul was like, "Oh, she doesn't want to wear the heels, like she's being," and like they had a very like contentious, like she didn't. I think Hyuna loves people who do not give in to her.
Absolutely,
things. That seems to be what she likes about people. So Sul did not give a shit that she didn't want to wear high heels, and she has kept her at her side the entire time now. So, and then there's a guy named Duho. Oh, if you want to follow Sul, which you should, she's at ssul.style on Instagram. And then there's a guy named Duho that works in Sul's studio, and his Instagram is at DOOOHO. If you ever see like a tall, like lanky, dark-haired guy who usually has like a lip ring, that's around dressing Hyuna, that's Duo. He's also always around.
Not to be confused with my heart tattoo, who also has a lip ring.
True. Then there was this manager named Chong-eun, and she was Hyuna's manager forever. And they were like stuck like glue. Like they used to sleep in a bedroom with like 2 beds like next to each other for years and years and years. They were so They were so deeply
close.
connected, and I have not seen her since everyone got fired from Cube, and like it makes me really, really sad. It makes me really sad. She like
Yeah.
still updates on her Instagram, but like she did not join the new P Nation crew. And so I don't know what happened, but it makes me sad. And on the same note, there was this other guy named Manager O who was also always at Hyuna's side. And there's an episode of, I think it's Free Month, maybe it's Hyuna 19, where she's eating lunch with this manager, and the camera crew people are like, y'all aren't saying anything. And she's like, I've eaten every meal with this guy for 8 years. Like, I don't have anything to say to him. And he was showing up on her Instagram after they got fired. Like, he was still hanging out with her.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him in a while, so I wonder if he got a new job. But like, Manager O is around. Also, her dancers, to get to the dancers, her dancers work at a place called Star System. And they all joined her back in the Cube days, and then left with her when everybody got fired.
Yeah.
Which I think is cool as shit.
Yeah, because you can see the what's the first song of hers that they were a part of? Like, I know that they're in How's This because we learned that one in there.
Hana, I think Hana's even in Red, honestly.
Yeah.
It might be that far back.
Hana is her like number one like choreographer, backup dancer, and like best friend. And then my heart tattoo man is also a part of this dance crew. And I just think it says a lot about Hyuna as an artist and as a person that these dancers who were not affiliated with Cube in the first place, like they
were
are
contracted.
They're a contracted group, and they chose not to stick with Cube but to stick with Hyuna. I think that says a lot about who she is as an artist and what it must be like to work with her.
Yes, and if you go to souldancepop.com, that is the website for the Star System dancers, and they have a list of all of them with links to their Instagrams. So if there are any Hyuna dancers, like the one why I cannot think of his name right now.
I
Heart
learned his
Tattoo
name,
Boy.
but I left my brain.
He's on there. But yeah,
follow him on Instagram.
her
It's
dancers
fine.
are loyal to her, which I think is beautiful.
Yeah.
And then the last person in Hyuna's crew that I think everybody should join is her new bodyguard, and his name is Yoon Sang-min, and he's on Instagram at Guard Yoon, and he's so fucking precious. And he is her and Hyo's new bodyguard, and he drives them everywhere, and he hypes them up so much on his Instagram, and she makes him do funny things on her reality show, and he's just sweetie.
He's just a precious. He posted a photo of Hyo like passed out in the practice
was like,
room.
"My precious."
And I don't remember what the caption was, but it was something like squealy and like fanboyish over Hyo. It was cute as fuck. He's a cute little bodyguard, but he's not little. He's large.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I love Guard Yoon. So that's Hyuna's crew. That's Hyuna. That's her whole career. We did it. It took forever, but we did it. We have to watch one more music video, but I guess I will just say that, like, I don't know. I love Hyuna. I love her so much. I love everything she's given me. She inspires me all the time. She keeps me going. I love looking at her face. I love hearing her voice. I love that she's happy, and I want her to always be happy. And I think it like helps me to like love her more, to hear her say so clearly that like she thinks that she's achieved all of her dreams and that all she wants now is just to like keep living and keep being happy. And she like kind of doesn't care if like, you know, she kind of doesn't care what happens now because she's done it all.
Yeah.
And she feels like she's succeeded. And like that as a fan makes me feel happy to like know that she feels fulfilled.
Absolutely. And it is really also nice to hear that like she's not, you know, stressing out, because the truth is that like Flower Shower is like one of her worst performing songs. Like it didn't do very well as far as the charts go or like sales or whatever. And so obviously that's disappointing as a fan that it wouldn't do well, and it's disappointing as someone who like thinks that song is good.
Right.
But and thinks that song is like still true to Hyuna and everything that she's always been. But the fact that she is not upset about that or like really preoccupied or worried about her chart performance at all, like that's just really nice, because we say it all the time, but we just want our idols to be happy. And so she seems really happy. I think that like being with P Nation has obviously been like a incredibly supportive and like fun environment to be in, and I'm really happy for her.
Yeah, I'm just happy for her. I'm just so happy for her, and it warms my heart every day. Like, you know, 2 summers ago, like I've said this a million times on the show before, but 2 summers ago, like not having any idea how anything was going to turn out, to like know now that like she is fine, and she's as fine as she's ever been, if not finer, and like she's gonna be okay. And I like feeling like I don't have to worry too hard about Hyuna. It makes me feel good that I don't know, I trust her.
I trust her, but I also almost like, more importantly, I trust Psy.
Yeah.
Like, I think Psy is a very, very good person, and I think he's a very good businessman, and I just like trust him to not fuck her over.
Yeah.
And that's very important.
That's all I can hope for. So, Hyuna, I love you forever and ever. And we'll be right back to watch her second most popular music video, Ice Cream. Okay, let's end this and watch Ice Cream. I wrote this in my notes, but note, if anybody's watching along or for Angelica right now, the signs that all of the people in this music video are holding up are pure nonsense.
Oh my God,
They're so funny. I wrote so many of them down.
One of them says, "It's too small for me," and I want to know why.
Yeah. And the other one's like, "Santa, please excuse my tears." And one says something about like, "Batman is gone."
They're so weird. They're so
weird. Okay, so here comes Hyuna, Ice Cream.
So there's like a graffiti ice cream truck, and Psy sees it, and he decides to be an ice cream thief.
Oh, he loves the ice cream.
He can't
and there's
resist
nobody
it.
around. And it's very large
It's
interior.
very
of this
large
truck.
inside. It's like the Spice Girls truck.
Yes.
And he just like disgustingly inhales this ice cream cone.
And Hyuna has on a hat and a bandana.
Yeah.
And a lot of very bad drawn-on tattoos.
And she's yelling at him, "Don't eat my ice cream. This
And
is
he's
my ice cream
Eating
truck."
it even harder now. Gross.
Gross.
By the way, Hyuna, fun fact, her favorite kind of ice cream is mint chocolate from Baskin Robbins, and so is mine.
It's a good one.
Those sneakers are crazy.
Yeah, those sneakers are really nuts. She's wearing a lot of bandanas. This ice cream truck has a fur steering wheel. And so there's like a scene of her. Also, those glasses say bride to be. I find that really funny. So she's either like dancing in the back of the truck or she's driving the truck.
And then there's people protesting, and all their signs say nonsense.
Say nonsense. It's too small for me. And then she runs over a clown as she's trying to drive through the protests. One of the signs says, "Do not hurry. You have 4 minutes."
That at least makes sense. Yeah, so Hyuna's outfits, she has like a yellow, like 2-piece leopard thing.
Uh-huh.
And then she also has this like sparkly zebra / leopard thing.
No, the
Lots of
zebra
animal
was
print.
the chair.
Oh, it was the chair.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because she just has denim.
Yeah.
I see. But yeah, lots of animal print. She's wearing no less than 2 hats in every scene.
And she's selling ice cream to all the protesters. And then suddenly she's in a sexy bubble-filled room.
Just bubbles on
with
the ground.
a leather onesie.
And then this guy with a nasty mustache has like a bunch of bad tattoos on his back.
That say Hyuna on them. But this is the best part, when she straight up sits on a man. It's my favorite. I love a choreography that objectifies a man. Look at him!
Just sitting on
the
him.
way
It's so
she
funny.
sits on him.
And she has a cool turquoise clip-in hair extension.
And she's just like rubbing herself in bubbles. I am dying to see the back of that dance break outfit. Because there's one scene where she's wearing this like sort of denim jumpsuit, but it looks like the backs of the legs are cut out of it, so that the backs are like hot pants. But I don't know for sure because she never fully turns around in it. Oh,
Okay,
my.
now she's just, this is what got this music video.
Oh.
Everything gets her flagged. And this one is like, there's a shirtless guy and she's just like holding him and putting her hands
her
on his
lips
neck.
near him.
Ooh, and yeah, he has a gross Hyuna ice cream back tattoo.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's very clearly fake. All the tattoos on all of them are all very fake. Except for her one real one at the moment. Now she has tons of tattoos on her hands like this. But,
Yeah.
but real. But real now. The socks are also okay, and now she's just creaming people with us.
Oh, see? Look, it is hot pants in the back. Wow, now she's just like shooting cream at people, I guess.
There you go.
There you go. Hyuna ice cream.
Hyuna ice cream. Her second most popular music video.
Yeah.
All right, well, that was our first Ake style deep dive. I think we did pretty okay. Sorry to the other 4 members of 4 Minute, but you still matter. I'm sorry.
I mean, sure. I don't know. I feel like this wasn't it was a Hyuna deep dive.
Yes, you're right.
So we had to also cover 4 Minute because that's a pivotal part of her career. Anyway, what do you recommend?
I just wanted to recommend the B-sides on Awesome and Following, specifically some really good ones. There is a song on there's a song on Awesome called You and Me. And it's a really, really good song. But then a few years later on Following, there's a song called Dart that is basically like a better rewrite of You and Me. They're like really, really similar, but I think Dart is the more realized version of the song. But they're both really good. I love those. There's some really great, she does like lots of good duets, or not quite duets, like rapping on boys' albums or whatever. I will make a nice playlist. But I think, my favorite Hyuna B-sides are like Dart. I like Do It. Do It is fun. I don't know. Just like, I just say that if you've only ever heard Hyuna lead singles, you should go listen to some of her B-sides because she sings on her B-sides. And I think her singing voice is interesting. It's like lower and she doesn't have like an extreme range. She's not like a singer per se. But I think that the music that she puts on the B-sides of her EPs is very interesting. And it's not quite that same bombastic Hyuna stuff. And I think it's an important aspect of her.
Absolutely. And I think that trend of like having these sort of different sounding B-sides is also true in like the Triple H discography.
Oh yeah.
A lot of the B-sides of Triple H like feature Hyuna singing in a very different way than she like normally does, and to the point where I didn't even there were a few tracks of Triple H where I was like, is this a featured artist? Like, who is this woman that's singing? But obviously it's Hyuna. So highly recommend literally all of Triple H's discography because it's all good. My specific recommendation is a 10-minute video of Triple H's Random Play on Weekly Idol episode 305 because it is chaos.
Yes.
And it's beautiful.
Great example of Hyuna arguing.
Great example of Hyuna being like, no, you're wrong. I am right. And I will talk you into this. And it's an excellent example of Hyojong being like, I don't argue with my girlfriend. I'm going to walk away.
Yeah.
Because there are so many, because they play like so many different songs. And Hyuna straight up doesn't remember the choreography to many of them.
Because again, she's not a touring artist. She like, doesn't really have to perform things very often unless she's doing like the water bomb concerts or whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
and she does do a lot of like college festivals and music festivals and stuff. Like after she signed with P Nation and before she released Flower Shower, she just did like a
college
country-wide tour of all the universities.
But anyway, she forgets her choreo.
She forgets her choreo, and the host of Weekly Idol like call her out on it, and she just straight up is like, no, I'm right. I look it up.
Pull up the video.
Pull it up.
I'm wrong.
I'm right.
Wrong.
And they get into like there's a point where they get into like a screaming match, and the other host just like puts his arms around Hui and Hyo, and they just like walk away. They're like, so how are you guys doing? And it's just really funny and entertaining and endearing. And I love Triple H.
That's a really great recommendation. That's really good. Another really funny one that you could look up. I'm very curious as to what happened to this child. But like somewhere around change time, Hyuna went on, it was probably like Star Golden Bell or one of those old school reality shows. And they brought in this like toddler that was called Baby Hyuna. And this toddler like dances like change and bubble pop with like all of her heart. And she is so small. And they're like, they bring Hyuna over and they're like, look, this is Hyuna. It's real Hyuna. And she doesn't give a fuck. And then they're like, Hyuna, you do the dance. And she's like, she's not as good as me. This like toddler. It's so funny. I like wonder what happened to that kid because it was long ago enough now.
Wow.
But that's a
She's
funny
a
classic.
trainee.
That's a classic Hyuna clip. Please watch all of her reality shows like I told y'all. The playlist will be up. Yeah, watch Hyuna Ing. It's like getting me through. It gets me through every Sunday to just like wake up and have some new Hyuna content. Today, they just went shopping for dog food. I mean, come on. What else do you need? Anyway, that's all. Please love my queen. I love her so much. She gives me so much. And that's all. If you would like to get in contact with us, we can be found at AMA Kpop Pod on Twitter and Instagram, amakpoppod@gmail.com for emails, 181-AMA-KPOP5 to leave us a voicemail, AMA Kpop Pod, the community on Discord, come talk to us. Ask Me About K-Pop, the podcast on YouTube. There's some old reactions on there. There's our YouTube channel has my first Hyudon video that I made the day that the news got broken because I had a secret stash of footage that I was like, this is proof that they're together. And I had it ready. I put it up. It has like 4 million. It's one of the most popular Hyuna videos on YouTube, which blows my goddamn mind. But that's there on our YouTube channel. Also our reaction, my flower shower reaction is there on topic. That's all. But there's fun stuff on our YouTube. I think that's all the places to plug. This was really nice. It was really nice to like not think about being like quarantined and shit for 2 hours and just think about my queen. So that was nice. Thanks for coming along. I love you guys. Hopefully we'll be back next week. We're going to try to keep this as normal as possible. So we love you and we'll see you then.
Take care.
Bye. Jonghyun, you're our inspiration.